Welcome, fellow dreamers. Welcome to Northland Homestead. So in today's video, we are doing a massive cooking day. I have high ambitions. We'll see what we actually end up getting to. But on the list for today is cookies for the bus driver and for the teachers. Tomorrow is actually our son's last day of school, so we definitely want to give the teachers and the bus driver a little thank you. Also, I was thinking about making some hamburger buns, some French bread, and also some pizza crusts, because I don't have any in my freezer, and I really like to have those frozen and ready to go. Also, we're going to make some peanut butter bars. That's a really quick and easy thing to make. I've already got homemade graham crackers on hand, so that part we don't need to worry about. We just need to combine the ingredients. Also, I was thinking about making some cinnamon rolls and maybe a French toast bake out of some of the other bread kind of scraps that I have from a previous loaf that I made. And for tonight's dinner, we're going to have roast and mashed potatoes and biscuits. So the mashed potatoes I already have in the freezer. I made a double batch the last time I made it and just froze the second half. So that'll be super easy to just de-thaw and heat back up. And then the biscuits I also already have made and put them in the freezer, so all they need to do is be baked as well. And the roast I started last night. So as far as dinner goes, it's basically almost done, just a matter of heating kind of things up. But we've got a big day of cooking ahead of us, so let's get right to it. Okay, so I've already got the roast basically done. I wish you could smell this. It smells absolutely delicious. This is just a very, very easy recipe. It's actually my mother-in-law's recipe. She passed it down to me. So it is just a slab of roast. Then you put it in some water overnight with some salt and pepper. And then let that go on low heat basically all night while you sleep. And then when you wake up the next day, you're just going to add some cream of mushroom soup. I normally do about 2 to 3, depending on the size of the roast. And then you also add some onions, diced onions, or sliced onions, however you prefer them to be diced. And then also some mushrooms if you want to add those. Sometimes I don't, just for convenience, if I don't have them on hand, or if they're, just maybe not on sale, because those can be a bit pricey. So it's up to you if you want to add extra mushrooms to the roast. But this could not be easier, so delicious, and something really easy to whip up in a hurry. Okay, I'm just gonna grab the mashed potatoes from the freezer. Okay. And I labeled it mashed potatoes so I would know exactly what's in there. So I'm just gonna let this de-thaw and then basically heat this up and dinner's ready to go. I also have some frozen biscuits. I just made up a huge batch of dough and went ahead and froze them in the biscuit shape. And now I can just kind of pop however many we need for dinner onto a baking sheet. Fresh homemade biscuits, like that. I wanted to share with you guys my organizational system for all of my recipes. So ignore the title because this is an old folder that I just repurposed. But in here I have all of my dough-based recipes, all of my dessert-based recipes, and then all of my soups, and then a few of my most favorite recipes from the collection of recipes my mom gave me. And then I also have, in this one, a little bit of a better organizational system. So I have every single recipe in page protectors, which is great because if flour or water gets splashed on it or anything, I can just wipe it clean and it's protected, which is fantastic. And in here, I have all of my breakfast recipes, snacks, all of my homemade sauces, all of the side items, and main courses. So this is how I kind of keep everything organized. immersion blender was a bad idea. That's not really blending up very well, so I'm gonna switch to my stand mixer. So my KitchenAid actually doesn't work properly in the sense that if it's plugged in, it immediately starts going. This won't stay in the off position. It's already set to 2, and if for whatever reason it's just stuck in that position. So that kind of stinks. So every time I want to use it, I have to plug it in. So, oh well. Okay, so the KitchenAid is working really, really well to mix this dough together. So let's give this a little taste test. Perfect. I wasn't sure about the sweetness, and I also did not add any butter to this recipe because I made this graham cracker by myself. It's homemade, and it's a little bit of a wetter cracker. It's not as dry as like a grocery store cracker would be. So I didn't think I would need the butter, and I don't. It's perfectly moist as is, and it has just the right amount of sweetness. Now I was eyeballing this because I'm going to turn this into multiple peanut butter bars, hopefully 3, but at least 2. So I can't tell you exactly how much powdered sugar I put in there or graham cracker. I just kind of eyeballed it. And it honestly turns out perfectly fine. As long as you get the right texture and sweetness level, you're good to go. Okay, I've got my 3 aluminum containers. We'll see how far this dough goes. Why not use a pretty scoop? So I was wrong about getting 3. As I was pressing it in, it became clear that they would be very, very thin peanut butter bars if I made them into 3. So I went ahead and made them into 2 instead. But still, we'll be able to freeze 1 and enjoy 1 for now. And my kids insist on having dessert after every meal. And I gotta say, they're not wrong. Okay, so for the chocolate topping, I'm just gonna again eyeball this. I'm not sure exactly how many chips I'm going to add, but I'm gonna eyeball this. Hopefully we get it right. If you're gonna melt down chocolate on the stove, you definitely wanna make sure that you whisk it pretty continuously, or else the chocolate can become scorched on the bottom. That's one of the reasons why I like to add a little bit of heavy whipping cream, because it helps keep the chocolate chips from being scorched and melt more easily. See how nicely that's melting down? It's turning into liquid gold. It's a very thick consistency, but it's not quite there. I can still see some lumps. You want to melt this down until there's no lumps at all. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. Perfectly smooth, creamy chocolate sauce. Okay, we almost had enough, but I think we're gonna need a little more. It's just not quite there. Pretty close though. Okay, so I melted down some more chocolate, so I think we've got plenty now. Okay, so the peanut butter bars turned out perfectly. I'm just gonna wrap these up, let them cool, and this needs to go into the refrigerator, and this one's gonna go into the freezer. I feel like this is what I'm going to be doing for most of the day, is just cleaning up the mess after every recipe. This is all just from the peanut butter bars. So every day that you have a massive cooking day, you can bet on doing a lot of dishes. So let's take care of these. So this pot is a little bit too caked in chocolate sauce, so I'm gonna let this soak, because that won't come off probably in the dishwasher by itself. And my KitchenAid mixing bowl and the scraper paddle switch, paddle switch I think is what this is called, I need to hand wash, because I'm gonna need this again soon. So dinner is served. The roast is nice and tender and juicy. We got that nice gravy with the onions and the mushrooms. We got some mashed potatoes and corn and a biscuit. It was super easy to whip up and super delicious. So we're gonna go enjoy dinner. Alright, so we just finished dinner. It was absolutely delicious. And yes, I definitely feel like after a meal like that, I want a nap. But there's no time for napping today because we still have a bunch more cooking to do. So I have some peels left over from some of the loaves that I've made recently, and we're gonna turn these into a French toast bake. So let's get to it. Enough to do 2 French toast bakes, which is just really exciting because anytime that I can make 2 of something and freeze one, it's just less work for me to do later. So this is wonderful to see. Just consulting with my recipe to see what's next. So now we're gonna need 8 whole eggs, but since I've got 2, I'm gonna do 16 eggs. 2 cups of whole milk, so 4 cups. A half a cup of heavy cream, so 1 cup. So let's get to mixing that up. Alright, so we've got our 16 eggs here in our mixing bowl. And if you remember from our grocery haul video, I shared with you how I bought 3 24-count eggs from the grocery for the week. And now all I have left from that is 20 eggs. So yes, I didn't fully need all of those 3 containers of 24 eggs for the entire week, because now it's been, I would say, about a week, maybe and a half. But as you can see, I have gone through a substantial amount of those eggs. And one recipe like this that I'm making in bulk took 16 of those eggs. So that's why I end up using so many eggs. If you can see that, some vanilla got onto my page protector for my recipe, so that's why it comes in handy. All that's left to do is to pour this over top of our bread and then to prepare the topping. But you can actually put this in the refrigerator overnight and then prepare the topping the day that you are planning to make this and put it in the oven and it's ready to go. So that's what we're gonna actually do. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this over the bread, freeze one like that, put the other in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow when we're actually ready to eat this, I'll prepare the topping. On to the next recipe. I apologize if you can hear the sound of the dishwasher going. I went ahead off camera and did the dishes a second time because it was already starting to pile up again. And I went ahead and also made these chocolate chip cookies. I didn't make this on camera because I just recently made these, and I think even the last video that I uploaded, and it's the exact same recipe as in that video. So if you want this recipe, go ahead and click on our last week's video. It's the cottagecore inspired video, and the recipe is linked in the description box. But these are delicious, and this was the most important thing for me to make today because this is, again, for the bus drivers and the teachers. So I wanted to make sure that we could give them a proper thank you for all the hard work that they did this year. And if you're a teacher, thank you for all that you do, helping our kids learn and grow. It's such an important job, and we appreciate it. We have had a very successful day, and I think we spent about 4 hours in the kitchen today. We set out with some really lofty goals, and we didn't get to everything, but we did have a very productive day. So we were able to make the peanut butter bars. We were able to get dinner on the table, so the roast, the mashed potatoes, biscuits, and corn. We were able to make the French toast bakes. We actually made 2 of those and 2 of the peanut butter bars. And we made cookies for the teachers and bus driver. And we also made 2 pizza crusts. So I'll be able to freeze a lot of this food and use it for over the week and weeks to come. So such a productive day. Thank you so much for joining us and coming along. I hope you're inspired to get a lot done in your kitchen and get some things in the freezer. All right, thanks for joining us, and catch us next time. Bye.